Hi everyone, it's another beautiful Tuesday. We are going close to the end of 2025. I am super excited. If you are running a small or a medium business, I have a feeling you are tired of all the same old scary headlines. The one that talks about hackers, the one that talks about firewalls. So today I want us to flip the script, okay? We are going to be talking about 5 cybersecurity challenges for next year that most people are not discussing. I know we actually talked about the threats last week. We discussed the threats you should anticipate for next year. So I want us to discuss those sneaky strategic challenges that target how we really work, especially as a small business. My goal today is not to scare you, it's just to give you a set of simple but powerful lenses to allow you see the future more closely so that way you can prepare without panic. If you're joining me right now, if you're joining live right now, I want you to feel free to say hi or drop a question. Let's make this a total conversation. All right? What I want you to know is that the real game changers for 2026 are hiding in plain sight. They are in our daily habits, they are in our daily connections, and they are in everything that we do on a daily basis. So I want us to pull back on just 5 of them. I want us to pull the curtain back on 5 of them. These are not about fancy quantum computers. These are not about total strangers or things that you don't understand or see on a daily. They are about human nature, they are about trust, they are about the tools that are already in your arsenal, the tools that are already in your office. Now, the first challenge I want us to talk about is referred to as the insider threats. Every time we talk about insider threats, the first thing that comes to a lot of people's minds is a malicious spy. But the truth is that the biggest insider threat in 2026 will not be a malicious spy. It's going to be your most eager team member who is trying to be very efficient. I want you to imagine your staff members using a public AI tool in order to draft a proposal. And accidentally, they paste in probably your client list, they paste in like a security project code name, or probably next year's budget. That way, they have just created a data leak without meaning to. AI now has your secrets. What I want you to understand is that if you want your business to survive without the harm in 2026, it's imperative that you take the human firewall protocol extremely seriously. Make it extremely seriously in 2026 is something that you need to pay a lot of attention to. Then, in addition, the actions that I need you to take, especially this week before we go into the new year is going to end tomorrow, is that number one, I need you to host an AI show and tell. You can host an AI show and tell. This is a no judgment chat, all right? You need to find out what cool tools, AI tools, your team members are using in order to get their work done because you cannot protect what you don't know about. You cannot protect what you don't know exists. Then the second thing I need you to do is create an AI policy. But in this case, it has to be just one sentence. Keep it very simple. Don't put in any private company information. Don't put in any private client information. Don't put in any team members information because you are using it in the public AI chatbot. So what I want you to do is that inform your team members that you are protecting everybody's hard work. That's one of the reasons why you are making it that way. That's one of the reasons why you are protecting private as well as sensitive information. Like I said, just create the policy. One sentence is extremely important. Then the third thing I need you to do is offer a silver alternative. One of the biggest lessons I have learned as a consultant is the fact that when you tell people don't, they would rather sneakily use it or use it in secret because it makes their lives easier. So, if possible, I need you to agree, come together, agree on one company approved AI tool. for everyone within your organization, then set proper privacy guards on it. That is the only tool that everyone within the organization is allowed to use. Now, the second challenge I want you to think about is what I have called your vendor, your vendors and partners. I need you to understand that in 2026, your vendor's front door is going to become your back door. So next year, I need you to put yourself in a situation where you're going to start reframing how you look at threats. The interesting thing is you could have the best locks in the world, but an attacker can come in through your graphic designer's cloud account. It can come in through your bookkeeper's email. So it is very important that you start to think in terms of the fact that supplier chain attacks is no longer just about big enterprises. Attackers will now target the smallest, least secure link in your chain of partners in order to get to you. So, what would you rather do? What I would advise that you do is that you consider what I have called the 4-question vendor check. The 4-question vendor check. What that means is that before you put yourself in a situation where you're going to be sharing data with anyone, where you're going to allow anyone into your network, it's extremely important that you ask those prospective partners those 4 questions. Number one, do you have an active security policy in place? Number two, do you use multi-factor authentication? We all know what multi-factor authentication is. That's like a code that you're going to receive on other devices outside of the device you want to log into. All right. Number three, how do you handle, how do you store, and how do you do away with data that we share? All right. Then number four, do you have cyber insurance? With these 4 questions, I want you to know it's not an audit. It's just like checking a restaurant's health inspection grade. That's just what you're looking for. So you need to make it imperative that you ask your prospective partners these 4 questions ever before they are allowed to have access to either your network or to your data. Another thing I want you to do is always use the principle of least privilege. I think I've mentioned this so many times. Give access to only what is needed. Give access to only what is needed. Don't give your social media person access to your financial files when they don't need it. Don't say because, oh, I am the founder, I am the CEO, I need to have access to everything. That's not the way it works. Only get access to data or information that is extremely important to your role. Then the third challenge is what I have called the compliance checklist trap. I think I've mentioned this so many times as well. If you want more information, go look at compliance without chaos as well as modernizing SMB compliance. You'll be in a better state to understand what I'm going to talk about. What I want you to understand about compliance is that it's a very tricky one because with compliance, we are always chasing a false sense of security. So many of us will just stick a box for regulation and we are still wide open to attacks. In 2026, savvy criminals will exploit the gaps between those check boxes that everyone is forgetting. So it's very important that you pay attention to this when you're thinking about compliance in 2026. The first thing is that I need you to reframe your mindset. The way I need you to start looking at your compliance is that you need to start seeing it as the floor, not the ceiling. So many of us instead of using compliance as a baseline, we start to look at it as the minimum, as the maximum. I will use the word minimum. We start to look at it as the maximum efforts that we need to put in so that we can check the box. No, compliance is the bare minimum for you in order to avoid a fine. So I want you to understand that the real security that you are going to put in is the layer that you build on top of whatever settings that you have put in your baseline. All right? Whatever settings that you have put for your compliance check, the real security is the layer that you put on top of it. Then the second thing I want you to understand is that every time you put a checkbox for a compliance regulation, a compliance, I'm going to use the word a baseline, a compliance baseline, you need to ask a why. Always ask a why for every checkbox. When you implement a control, you need to ask yourself a question. What real world risk is this actually preventing? That will help you to shift from mere box ticking to risk taking. That will help you to shift from mere box checking to risk thinking. Then, number four, I want you to think about the fourth challenge, which is the smart device spy. The smart device spy. We are moving into a place where Internet of Things is becoming a very big deal right now. So you need to understand that every smart device in your home, in your office, such as your thermostats, the video doorbell, that smart coffee maker that you love so much, even your Wi-Fi printer, is a tiny, often poorly secured computer. So in 2026, these are going to become very prime targets because they are not only connected to your network. A lot of times we simply forget about them. So they can be manipulated or used as microphones. They can be used as doorways into your main systems. So what I need you to do, the actions I need you to take and pay attention to is that number one, you need to isolate your smart devices with a separate network. I want you to put all your IoT devices on a separate Wi-Fi network. A lot of times, something like a guest network on your router actually works. Okay, that way, if the smart fridge is compromised, it will not reach your accounting data. They will not be able to get access to sensitive data within your network. Another thing I want you to understand is that you must always change the default passwords. Make it a point of duty to always change the default passwords. I think I've mentioned this a lot of times as well. Every time a password comes from a manufacturer, sometimes they come in with a username like admin or a password like admin or 1234. Some will come with 12345. It's very important that you change it to something very stronger. Remember, the manufacturer has access to it, and a lot of hackers also have access to it as well. Then the number five challenge is what I have called the AI clone menace. The AI clone menace. We are in a space right now where deep fakes are not just for celebrities anymore. So in 2026, you are going to see what is called an increase in targeted deep fake audios, videos, especially ones that are used for financial fraud against small businesses. I want you to imagine a phone call or a video call from one of your partners that is asking for an urgent wire transfer, even though they are on vacation. And interestingly, it will sound exactly like them. That is one of the risks, that is one of the challenges that is coming with AI clones in 2026. So, what I need you to do is that with your team members, you need to agree on a secret code. In fact, I won't just say with your team members, I will also say for your family members as well. Agree on a secret code word with your leadership team members, with your staff members, with your family, especially when it comes to any urgent financial requests or requests for data. If there is no correct code, there is no money. Yes, I know. It actually feels like a spy movie, but the truth is, it really works. All right. Then the second thing I want you to pay attention to is what I call the verify rule. I want you to start mandating the verify rule. Make it a culture within your organization We've talked about this so many times as well. Ensure that any unusual payment request, any request for data, in fact, any unusual request must be verified by the pause to verify rule. We have looked at all the five threats together. Do you see a pattern? We have moved into a place where the danger has shifted. It's not just in the tools that we adapt, it is when there is no guidance. It is when the partners that we trust without question come into your network. It is in the check boxes that we mindlessly tick. It is in the gadgets that we ignore. And most importantly, it is in the convincing lies that technology can now tell. So I want you to know that your superpower for next year, you have a new superpower. It's not a bigger IT budget. Believe me, it's not. It's awareness as well as simple protocols. It's the ability to be able to ask the right questions and building habits of verification. So it's very important that you start on a very simple note. So here is the deal. If you decide to start tackling everything at once, you're going to hide under your desk. Most importantly, you may never get it done. So I will advise that you don't. This is what I need you to do. In the next 2 weeks, pick just one of the action plans that we have talked about. Just one. You can decide to have an AI show and tell chat. You can decide to include the four vendor questions that we talked about when it comes to partnership verification. You can decide to create a new network exclusively for your smart devices. And most importantly, you can just agree on a verbal safe word with your team. If you're able to do all this, I want you to imagine the confidence you will have in 2026, knowing that those sneaky threats that are coming for you cannot set into your organization or your network because you have already built your defenses. Now that's our goal. It's not about fear. It's not about fear right now. I want you to understand that it is about creating a high level of foresight. This is going to be our last session in 2025. Don't forget to send in your questions. Like I said, always say, this is a community. Our goal is to grow together using cybersecurity as our biggest growth lever. I want you to have an amazing ride into the year 2025. Like I always say, don't forget to send in your questions. I love answering your questions. Thank you so much for joining me on this session. I'm going to see you in the next year. Have a beautiful, amazing ride into 2026.